Good evening, everyone. My name is James Ruhlman, and I am the Deputy Director for Program Management at the Veterans Benefits Association's Education Service. And I'm happy to be here to talk to you about some exciting things that are going on within VBA in 2021, which is going to be for all of us a year of transformational change. I'm going to cover a number of different topics today. I'm going to go over basically what we offer as far as GI Bill education benefit programs and give you an idea of where we're at today. And also, I'm going to go over some of the current hot topics that we're currently working on and talk about our vision and direction that we're going in the future. I'm going to provide you with some resources that are available for our GI Bill beneficiaries. And I'm also going to provide an update on some of the other VBA benefit programs, such as Veteran Readiness and Employment VRE, and capture some of the highlights and some of the great work that they're doing to really transform their business line as well. First, I'm going to give you a basic overview of the mission and goals of the GI Bill education benefit programs. We provide expanded opportunities for veterans and their family members. The GI Bill benefits also support employment in high demand fields. And also, we are looking to enrich the lives of our GI Bill beneficiaries by giving them the tools they need to further their education and grow and prosper today and tomorrow in today's economy. Here's a map of the various states and jurisdictions. We currently process all of our education benefit claims in 2 VA regional processing offices, one in Muskogee, Oklahoma, which has jurisdiction for claims received from schools in the orange states, and also Buffalo, New York, which processes the claims for students attending schools in the blue states. A few basic facts that I can give you are our targets currently for claims processing are 24 days for an original claim. And an original claim is the first time that an individual applies for benefits where we have to go through the basic determination of eligibility and awarding benefits. And we're currently meeting that target as well, exceeding it actually. But 24 days for originals. And then for supplemental claims, which are generally re-enrollments, we have a target of 12 days to process all those re-enrollments. And also we have a quality target of 95% for our payment accuracy. Currently, we administer 5 education benefit programs, and I'm going to give you a little bit more information on those benefit programs here in an upcoming slide. In fiscal year 2020, last fiscal year, we processed 3.5 million education claims and paid out a total in $12 billion in benefits to 900,000 beneficiaries. We have over 400,000 approved education programs at 43,000 campuses, both in the US and across the globe, covering all different kinds of education programs. They can be degree programs, both undergraduate and graduate, non-college degree programs, on-the-job training and apprenticeship training, and also things such as correspondence training and vocational flight programs for people who want to be professional pilots. Most of that, about 11 out of the $12 billion, was paid under the post 9/11 GI Bill, which has been in effect since August of 2009. And in that time, we have paid $114.7 billion in benefits to over 2.3 million beneficiaries. Here are some highlights of the benefit programs. Most of these actually reflect provisions that were implemented as part of the Harry W. Colmery Veterans Educational Assistance Improvements Act of 2017. As I mentioned, we processed 3.5 million claims last year. We've paid out $63 million in STEM scholarship benefits, which are designed for individuals who are pursuing some sort of program in a STEM field, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That was part of the Colmery Act. We have the Vet Tech Pilot Program, which is sort of a non-traditional program, and I'll talk about it more in depth later, for high-tech programs, and it's really focused and geared towards getting people jobs. We've had 585 veterans who've obtained employment following completion of the Vet Tech program. We have 2,072 schools that offer priority enrollment. 2,100 STEM scholarships have been awarded. Our independent study program has increased by 300% for individuals who are generally non-traditional and either don't have the opportunity or their schedule won't allow them to attend normal in-class classroom training, and they're taking classes primarily online. We have 5,500 plus schools in the Yellow Ribbon program. A lot of good things that we've been doing over the course of the past few years with those important changes in the Colmery program. As I mentioned earlier, we currently have 5 active educational programs. I mentioned the post 9/11 GI Bill. That is the big one, and it covers active duty service members. It pays benefits to veterans, and it also pays benefits for dependents as well, either through the transfer of entitlement program, whereby individuals on active duty who've served at least 6 years and agree to serve 4 more can transfer some of their entitlement or all of their entitlement to a spouse or children. As well as the Fry Scholarship Program, which is for the surviving spouses and children of individuals who die in the line of duty while serving on active duty. For service members and veterans, generally they get eligibility after serving a total of 90 aggregate days on active duty, although it can be shorter for individuals who are discharged due to a service-connected disability or individuals who are recipients of the Purple Heart. Another important fact about this benefit program is the fact that a lot of times people are now calling it, since the Harry W. Colmery Educational Assistance Act of 2017, the Forever GI Bill, due to the fact that individuals who were last discharged from active duty on or after January 1st of 2013 have no expiration date on their benefits. Individuals last discharged prior to that date have 15 years to use their benefits. One of the other special things about the post 9/11 GI Bill is that for the first time since the original GI Bill, benefits can be paid directly towards tuition and fee charges, and it also involves a monthly housing allowance based on the Department of Defense's BAH rates, and it pays a book and supply stipend, and it covers all various types of benefit types of training programs, as I mentioned earlier, degree, non-degree, flight, etc. Also, we still have the Montgomery GI Bill active duty program, the Chapter 30 benefit, which has been around since the 80s. It's still active. Individuals can use that for 10 years after discharge. It pays a monthly benefit based on training time, if a student's full-time, half-time, three-quarter time, etc., and it doesn't pay directly towards GI Bill tuition and fee costs. That's up to the individual. We also have the Montgomery GI Bill Selected Reserve Program for drilling reservists, the VEAT program, which is the post-Vietnam era Veterans Educational Assistance Program, still has a few members. Nobody's been eligible for that as far as new people gaining eligibility since July 1st of 1985. And finally, we also have the oldest of the active programs, the Survivors and Dependents Educational Assistance Program, or DEA, which is for the spouses and children of veterans who have a service-connected disability rated as total and permanent in nature, and or individuals who are the dependent of a veteran who dies due to a service-connected disability or dies on active duty. But as I said earlier, 11 out of the 12 billion is from that post 9/11 GI Bill benefit, which covers a lot of reservists who are activated, all the individuals who are currently on active duty, as well as any number of dependents. As I mentioned and on the title slide, we're talking about 2021 being a year of transformational change for education benefits within VBA, as well as across the Veterans Benefits Administration. In the education realm, we're looking to modernize and create world-class GI Bill customer service and benefits claims processing through our digital GI Bill program. I'll talk about that here in a following slide. We're also developing end-to-end systems integration so that all of our stovepipe legacy IT systems that have important data can all talk to one another, and we're going to leverage business intelligence tools. What that will allow us to do is to improve benefit delivery, and we're also going to incorporate outcome measures, looking at the return on investment that people are getting from these GI Bill benefits now that we are spending about $12 billion a year. And we're also incorporating feedback that we get from veterans and other stakeholders in order to improve delivery and improve the service that we provide to our veterans, dependents, and other stakeholders, including schools, by the way. We're going to expand our resources, communications, focus more on electronic outreach and intake tools to better support beneficiaries, while also strengthening our compliance and oversight activities. Now that we are spending $12 billion a year on benefits, we want to make sure that the educational institutions that are approved for GI Bill benefits are delivering on the promises they're making to America's veterans and providing top quality educational opportunities to our GI Bill beneficiaries. And finally, we're supporting new legislative requirements, and we want to make sure that we have the ability to adapt our IT systems when new legislation does come through, and also handle any policy changes or regulatory changes that we have as we move forward throughout the 21st century. I mentioned the digital GI Bill. Part of that is going to be modernizing our business platforms. Some of our IT systems actually date back to the 1980s and are in basically dead programming languages. For anybody who has or has not heard of the programming language COBOL, we still have a few of our legacy systems that are programmed in that language. So what we're going to do is take all those legacy systems and roll them into one modern platform so that we can pay all of our benefits and we can actually exchange information across the benefit programs and all the systems that focus on customer facing, school facing, our oversight and accountability activities, and really allow students to receive GI Bill benefit information real time. Because we know that this is very important for them in maintaining their post-secondary educational activities as well as their economic standing, because we are paying monthly housing allowances, tuition and fees and everything else. And we want to be able to give faster service to our veterans, both in terms of benefit delivery and answering their questions. And the second bullet deals with that, which is improving customer service. We're really trying to focus more on electronic outreach and intake and communication tools that allow for more on-the-spot service. Most of our services and outreach traditionally used to be showing up at conventions, answering questions, handing out pamphlets, mailing out flyers, later on sending emails, but now we want to leverage a lot of the more modern tools that will allow us to give real-time information to all of our stakeholders, schools, really veteran service organizations, members of SVA, as well as the veterans and beneficiaries themselves. And also we want to leverage business intelligence tools that will provide us with analytics and allow us to be proactive and get the word out to our GI Bill beneficiaries when we need to. We're also looking at a managed service for claims processing that can offer us full automation. Since about 2012 or so, we've been automating some of our claims, mostly the re-enrollments, those supplemental claims. And we want to increase that and also start automating the original claims, those original determinations of eligibility once we receive those applications. And we want to move in that direction and also work on notifying our veterans and beneficiaries of their awards and any changes and any other information that we want to give them electronically. Traditionally, we've done batch printing of letters and send it out snail mail, and somebody gets it out of their mailbox and hopefully reads it. Part of it is it gets stuck in with all the junk mail. We want to be able to highlight the important notifications and also get them out in a much quicker manner. Now that we have direct deposit, it doesn't make a lot of sense to send out benefit payments to somebody by direct deposit and then have a letter actually explaining what that benefit payment is for 3, 4, or 5 days later. So what we're really looking to do, as I said, is integrate everything and just really focus on modern technology that allows for much quicker response time, answering questions, providing benefits, getting the word out to any of our stakeholders on important changes or new benefit programs that we may have. Now focusing on some current events. Of course, we're still in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. We have a number of statutory changes starting last year and going through this year that provide additional benefits and protections for our beneficiaries using their GI Bill education benefits in these unprecedented times. First of all, we have statutory provisions which are going to be in effect until December 21st of this year that protect the resident monthly housing allowance rate for our beneficiaries who were taking classes in a classroom in residence and had those programs converted to online training because of the pandemic. We're also continuing benefit payments for up to 4 weeks or 28 days for individuals whose programs were terminated, even if the school remains open, and also allowing continuation of payments if a school closes or has closed because of the pandemic. In addition, we're also allowed to restore entitlement for individuals who lost time because of the fact that their school closed or their program was shut down temporarily due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we can give them back the portion of their GI Bill entitlement that they used in pursuit for which they didn't actually get credit towards graduation. We also have the ability to continue payments for individuals who are no longer able to continue the performance of work study activities due to the pandemic, and also for individuals who have their training interrupted because of the pandemic. We can extend the delimiting date or the expiration date by which they need to use their benefits, generally 10 years for most programs, 15 years for those individuals under the post 9/11 GI Bill who were last discharged prior to January 1st, 2013. We can give them additional time to use their benefits after the pandemic when their schools reopen and they can continue training. Another important piece of legislation is the Isaacson and Rowe Improvement Act of 2020, which was actually enacted on January 5th of this year. And it makes a number of important changes. It also has a transformative effect on education benefits as a whole. It provides additional benefits, additional protections, and also additional oversight and accountability activities. There are over 30 provisions that impact education benefits specifically. It's a huge omnibus that actually applies all across the Department of Veterans Affairs, but 30 of them specifically do apply to education benefits. There's a new requirement for enrollment verification, expanded restoration of entitlement opportunities. It will finally sunset the Montgomery GI Bill active duty program, which has been around since July 1st of 1985. That's 10 years off though. And individuals who do establish eligibility by 2030 can actually use their 10 years worth of benefits. So they'll still have that ability. And what we're primarily focusing on during this implementation phase is focusing first on the 15 provisions which were effective on the date of enactment, which was, as I mentioned, January 5th, 2021. Many of them do require IT changes, and we're working on getting those fixes into our IT systems. And then we have 14 more of the provisions which are effective on August 1st of 2021. We're working on those as well. And then there are a few that are in out years up to 2030, which is when the sunset of the Montgomery GI Bill active duty program will occur. Earlier, I also mentioned the Vet Tech pilot, which is the Veteran Employment Through Technology Education courses, which is a 5-year pilot program for eligible veterans to help secure them meaningful employment in high-tech, talent-hungry fields. What it does is it pairs eligible veterans with market-leading providers in those high-tech, sought-after fields. A lot of them tend to be things such as computer boot camps. Interestingly enough, individuals don't have to use their own benefit entitlement under this. This is basically free entitlement. In order to be eligible, an individual has to have at least 1 day remaining of some other GI Bill benefit program, such as post 9/11 GI Bill. Generally, as I mentioned, it's computer boot camps. There on the slide here, it shows the types of training: computer programming, data processing, media applications, computer software programs. And you can find out more information on this program if you'd like to on our website, which is listed there on the slide. Importantly, the Isaacson and Rowe Act actually added some things to this. Now we've are expanding this benefit program so that individuals on active duty within 180 days of discharge can also be eligible to use this program and gain the skills they need in order to make a seamless transition into the civilian workforce post-discharge. It also increased the amount of funding that we have for this program as well, which is important because in the past fiscal year, we actually expended or obligated all of the funds that were allocated within about 2 months. So it's a very popular program, and anyone who's interested, if you think you know someone who's interested, tell them about the Vet Tech program. They can just Google it, and it'll bring up the link for the GI Bill website. And we have a list of various training providers that offer those classes either in a classroom setting or online. So the fact that you're not close to one of them doesn't mean you can't participate. Also, one of the great programs that we have, which was modified and enhanced by the Isaacson and Rowe bill, is the Edith Norris Rogers STEM Scholarship Program, which provides up to 9 months of additional benefits or up to $30,000 in total benefit money for undergraduate STEM degrees and certain types of programs that involve like medical residencies. That's actually a recent change with Isaacson and Rowe, as well as dual majors. And these scholarships are awarded on a monthly basis. So sometimes individuals are in a STEM program, they have 36 months of full-time benefits. They really want to complete that STEM program, but they're concerned that their benefits will run out before they actually have the ability to complete it. This program gives that 9 months of extra benefits, allowing these individuals to get a STEM degree and go into one of those high-paying, high-demand STEM fields. There are some eligibility requirements listed on the slide as well. Veterans and Fry scholars, anyone who is in a program that requires at least 120 semester hours for completion, and they've completed at least 60 semester hours in one of those STEM fields can apply. The application is available on our GI Bill website. Now I want to talk about some of the great resources that we have for students. A lot of times people know that they have the GI Bill benefits, but they're not really sure where to start. We have a great guide called Building Your Future with the GI Bill, which gives a lot of great information on how to use and understand the benefits and navigate through the GI Bill process and graduate and get out and get a job. For individuals who are survivors, such as surviving spouses and children using the Fry Scholarship and DEA, we have a dedicated phone line for survivors. And we also have a number of avenues through which individuals can get their questions answered or get additional information on the GI Bill. We still have our education call center for those individuals who still like to use the telephone. We also have our website. We have an electronic system where you can ask questions. We also have our GI Bill feedback tool, which can be used to provide feedback, either positive or negative, on any of their experiences with the schools that are approved for GI Bill benefits. And we also have a Twitter account and a Facebook account as well that we use to post a lot of new late breaking information. So check those out. Finally, I'd like to really point out our GI Bill comparison tool. This is something that we've had since about 2012, and it's a really great resource that allows beneficiaries and individuals who are thinking about going to school to look up what types of programs and program providers are approved for GI Bill benefits across the country or in the localities in which they live. And it's a wonderful resource. It shows it's got a benefit estimator on it. It'll tell you how much money you can get and receive in benefits if you're attending that school or one of the programs at any various school. It'll tell you the monthly housing allowance rate for full-time attendance under the post 9/11 GI Bill. The address is listed on the slide, or you can just do what I do and Google GI Bill comparison tool, and it'll pop right up. But anyone who's interested in looking at a school or thinking about a career change, this is a wonderful resource. In addition to veteran resources, I also want to point out that we have a great relationship with school certifying officials at the various GI Bill approved schools. One of the things that has to be kept in mind is, to the extent that the GI Bill benefits are paid in a timely manner and in an accurate manner, we rely heavily on the schools, and we partner with the school certifying officials to ensure that we get accurate, timely reporting when an individual first enrolls, adds classes, drops classes, etc. And there are a number of resources specifically dedicated for schools as well. There is, at our education call center, a dedicated school certifying official line. We post information for them on Facebook and Twitter as well. We have SCO training and webinars and office hours that we hold specifically for our school certifying official partners. We have FAQs on our website. We have a dedicated school certifying official resource page. And this is something that anyone associated with the school should certainly think about checking out. And finally, one of the neat things that we've started here in the recent past is a STEM text, which is just for individuals interested in or participating in the Edith Norse Rogers STEM Scholarship Program. There's a link for a neat video that you can check out as well. We heard from people that they really want us to be able to communicate in other ways. When they have questions or we need to get them information, they would rather receive a text message, and this is an opt-in program as well. But individuals who want to opt in can, and we send them information by text rather than snail mail, email, or putting information up on the website and hoping that they get on it and actually take a look at it. But this is really the direction that we're trying to move in, starting with the Rogers STEM Scholarship and hopefully progressing as we go down this digital GI Bill path to leverage more modern communications technologies to get the word out to our beneficiaries. Next, I want to talk about a great benefit which is available for our various GI Bill beneficiaries. Anybody in any of our benefit programs, including VR&E, has the ability to use personalized career planning and guidance, which we're calling PCPG. Many people in the past may have heard this referred to as the Chapter 36 counseling. It's run out of the Office of Transition and Economic Development, also known as OTED. It's basically been rebranded from Chapter 36 counseling, which really doesn't tell you what it does, to the personalized career and planning guidance. And that was launched in January of 2021, and it provides service members, veterans, and dependents with enhanced career counseling, education planning, resume writing, interview skills, and other services to achieve personal, career, and educational goals. The rebranding reflects that the program offers much more for eligible participants than what Chapter 36 counseling says. And the goal is really to build awareness and understanding and increase the use of this great program as a tool for individuals who are trying to transition from the military to civilian life. Okay, let's talk a little bit about eligibility. Really, anybody who is or will become eligible for GI Bill benefits can be eligible for it, including transitioning service members who are within 6 months of separation, veterans who have transitioned in the last year, and anyone, either veteran or dependent, who has already been determined eligible and received a certificate of eligibility from VA for one of the various GI Bill education and training programs. And also, it provides a wonderful panoply of resources. One thing that it provides is career choice assistance. If somebody is looking for a job and wants to know what types of occupations for which they would be best suited based upon their skills, abilities, and aptitudes, they can do that. They provide education and career counseling. They can focus on tailored training, education, and/or employment plans. They do academic counseling for individuals who may have some sort of obstacles that need to be overcome, as well as benefit coaching to let them know what other types of VA benefits and resources they have available to them and may want to take advantage of. And as I mentioned also, they can help you out with resume writing, interview skills, and much more. This is really a wonderful program, and it's another thing that with a quick Google search, you can find out more information about it. And this is also something that can be used at various points in time. People may want to use it more than once during their time. You can use it when you're transitioning from military to civilian life. You can use it when you're just thinking about going to school, but you're not really sure what you want to do, what majors you want to go in. If you're facing obstacles trying to get in, they can help you with that, as well as later on in life, now that we do have this forever GI Bill, where the post 9/11 GI Bill benefits are available throughout one's lifetime. If you're considering changing jobs, occupations, or going through some sort of retraining, they can help with that as well. All right, let me go back one. Okay, let's talk about veteran readiness and employment. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. There's a name change there. It used to be vocational rehabilitation and employment, and now it's veteran readiness and employment. You can also see a nice brand new logo in the bottom left-hand corner, and we will talk about that. First, let's start with the VSOC program, which is the Veterans Success on Campus program. And that is where counselors are on college campuses or nearby college campuses, which can provide career counseling, educational career counseling, benefit coaching, referral services to service members, veterans, and dependents on currently 104 college campuses across the country. During fiscal year 2020, our VSOC counselors recorded contacts with over 26,000 veteran students and responded to over 71,000 concerns. They also provided professional counseling to 24.76, or about a quarter of those contacts. Also, over 250 schools are on the waiting list for future VSOC expansion. So this is a very popular program, and it's really come a long way since it was piloted a few years back. And now it is at 104 campuses, hopefully one near you. Now let's hop into that name change that I mentioned earlier. Voc Rehab and Employment, new name, new tagline, same acronym. This change was effective in June of last year, really to focus more on what it's really focused on. It's not really so much about vocational rehabilitation as it is veteran readiness and employment. New tagline, empower, achieve, succeed, and a new logo showing a path of, from the beginning to this end state, narrowing and getting more focused as it progresses down the path. And there is that logo. An interesting thing about this logo is it didn't just pop into somebody's mind all of a sudden. First of all, it has this nice red, white, and blue theme, and it's one of a number of logos that VBA has developed recently. It was actually adopted by looking at and asking people what they thought and wanted to see, and talked to a bunch of people and got input about both the name change and the new logo to really get buy-in of everyone to go through this change and really focus more on what VR&E should really be focusing on. Okay, let's talk about next, e-invoicing and e-authorization. For those of you who are familiar with how VR&E used to work, whenever invoicing was done in order to receive payment for VR&E benefit assistance, everything was done on paper. Now it's being done electronically through the IPPS program. It's standardized and streamlined the invoice payment process, pardon me, I have a dog in the background who was bugging me, significantly reducing the amount of time needed to receive, process, and pay vendors. The platform allows national oversight for compliance with Public Law 115-407 as well, which requires payment within 60 days. So this was largely statutorily driven, but it was long overdue, and it's working great. In fiscal year 2020, VR&E paid out over 161,000 invoices for over $466 million, with 99.97% paid in less than 60 days, hitting that benchmark, and 99.6% of them were actually under 30 days, reducing late payments by a large margin. And fiscal year to date, they've already paid over 81,000 invoices for over $238 million, with 99.46% of those invoices paid in less than 30 days. Next, I want to talk about telecounseling. And there's a VA Video Connect system, which VR&E is now using, that gives them the flexibility to provide more choice, access, and timeliness to individuals. The VA Video Connect program has supported more than 137,000 appointments to date, and it's really a blueprint for excellence. One of the things that happened with COVID-19 is that VR&E engaged with some other business lines within VBA, such as pension and fiduciary service and loan guarantee service, letting them leverage it as well, letting more people into it to really facilitate a virtual transformation in how we reach out and coach and counsel and interact with our beneficiaries. And it's really a great option because of the fact that it's really cut down on the need for travel, the reimbursement for travel, the time for travel to meet with a VR&E counselor. Now they can do it from anywhere at home, If they have a computer and a webcam, they can do that via video connect, and it helps us to really do much better and timely outreach with our beneficiaries. We also have an electronic virtual assistant. VRNE first deployed that in Q3 of fiscal year 2020, and it provides automated text messages and/or email communications between VRNE staff and participants in the VRNE programs. Like with Video Connect, it's an option for veterans. The participation adoption rate is 89% currently, which is much, much better than the industry standard, which is about 56%. And it's allowed for communication and interaction with more than 126,000 claimants. Since deployment, it's documented over 3.4 million case notes, and it's automatically scheduled or rescheduled over 45,000 appointments. Finally, I'd like to talk about another wonderful opportunity for beneficiaries receiving GI Bill benefits, which is the Prudential Financial Partnership through an MOU recently signed in November 2020 with VA, which gives service members, veterans, and family members free of charge tools to help them more effectively manage their money, achieve their goals, and protect them against financial risks. Through a virtual format, it provides training that educates individuals on key financial wellness topics, promotes understanding of military, veteran, and civilian benefits, and provides tools to empower participants to take control of their financial futures. Additionally, some of these webinars are specifically addressed to financial decision points for individuals that are transitioning. It's a very useful tool also for individuals, for example, who may be receiving a large sum of money based upon a retroactive award due to a service-connected disability. In situations like that, the financial wellness training can assist in educating the veteran in how to manage and invest those newly received funds as appropriate. Also, it's actually a scheduled formal training. It's not taped or recorded. So individuals can sign up and schedule when they want to take one or more of those courses, and they are provided free of charge to veterans and service members. Okay, now we are at the question portion. Okay, let's see here. We have one from Jonathan. The legislative panel mentioned earlier today the need for VA to update its education benefit systems, and we know that you're working on that enhancement. Is this what's referred to as the digital GI Bill, and can you tell us about the status of improvement and how it will change our experience? Yes, that is the digital GI Bill. As I mentioned, we're actually fairly early in that process right now. We're working on getting a contractor on board. We already have some contract and project management support lined up, and we're going to start really getting together, and actually our project management support has already started working with the various teams and activities within education service to capture the needs, both in terms of the integration of the various IT systems, which right now are stovepiped, as well as new functionalities which are needed in order to provide better service to our veterans, more timely benefit payments, as well as more effective oversight and accountability for GI Bill approved schools. But that is part of that digital GI Bill, and that's something, as I said, that's going to be ongoing throughout the year, and hopefully pretty soon we'll have a contractor on board and start documenting and building out everything. Okay, are you eligible for Vet Tech if you're using VRNE? You can be eligible for Vet Tech. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you use VRNE and vet tech simultaneously. Most of our vet tech programs are really very intensive, fairly short computer boot camp type programs that really tend to prefer or tend to really necessitate full-time attention. So I'm not sure that you could do both at once, but yes, VRNE beneficiaries can be eligible for the vet tech program. What is the annual budget allotment for the vet tech reset? January 1st, that was $30 million that was added for vet tech. Another question we have, I know use of post 9/11 GI Bill is an irrevocable decision, but I'm learning that veterans are being denied the opportunity to switch to post 9/11 from MGIB if they used it while on active duty. Is this a new policy or new interpretation? No, it's actually not. There's also a recent court case which is impacting this as well, and we're working through the implementation of that decision. But in the original statute that was passed creating the post 9/11 GI Bill, it actually required someone to relinquish MGIB to get post 9/11. And then in 2011, with the post 9/11 Veterans Educational Assistance Improvements Act, there was an additional stipulation written in that basically said an individual could not establish eligibility for two benefits based on the same period of service. And in that case, where this prohibition came from had to do with the fact that an individual who only served, say, for example, 3 years on active duty and used that to become eligible for the for the MGIB could not also use it to become eligible for the post 9/11 GI Bill, or vice versa. So that's actually where that came from. It wasn't a new interpretation. It's something that was based on that prohibition or bar against dual eligibility based on the same period of service. But as I mentioned, there is a recent court case that we're currently working on, which does provide a certain amount of leeway. So your next question, who did you bring in on the conversion around ending the round out part of certifications? I don't think there's a single SCO out there who would disagree with telling you it will have a negative impact on the beneficiary. That's a great question. For those of you who don't know what rounding out is, rounding out was a legacy historical policy, actually, that allowed an individual under the Montgomery GI Bill to take additional classes that didn't actually count towards graduation, that they didn't need to graduate, in their last semester only. For example, if somebody only needed 6 credits to graduate, well, that's half time. Under post 9/11 GI Bill, you don't get the housing allowance. Even under MGIB, you only got about half of the full-time rate. So it was a policy to allow individuals to take a couple of additional classes that didn't count, but it would get them up to full time and allow the payment of the full monthly benefit. What we did last year was we had a question about individuals who were signing up for honestly very expensive classes, such as private pilot training, helicopter training, skydiving, scuba diving, things like that, and said, is there any way that we could limit the round out? And through our research, we actually discovered that it was a policy decision, and there actually is no actual statutory provision upon which that policy was founded. So after discussions with VA's Office of General Counsel, there was a decision made to phase out the rounding out policy because of the fact that there was no statutory authority really to do it in the first place. And especially given the fact that under the post 9/11 GI Bill, we're paying for the tuition and fees associated with those classes, which don't actually count towards graduation. Okay, what is the approximate time frame for the digital GI Bill? Honestly, it will be a multi-year effort. I don't know off the top of my head. One of the things that we are going to have to do is as we gather the requirements, figure out kind of what the rank order is, and look at the funding that we have and figure that out. But hopefully we will actually start making some headway on that very soon. Okay, we have a question on VSOC. My institution has been on the VSOC waiting list for over 3 years. Is there an update on where they are on the wait list and when more VSOCs will be available? I do not have the answer to that, but I do have a subject matter expert who may be able to speak to that.
Yes. Hi, James. Thank you. This is Robin Trulock, and I am here from Veteran Readiness and Employment. So the VSOC program hasn't had a major expansion since 2013. We did have a small expansion to 10 additional campuses in 2018, but unfortunately we have not been able to have the resources to expand since then. So we continue to add schools to our waiting list, and as soon as we are able to have the resources and we are given the FTE to expand the program, we will definitely look at the schools that have been on our waiting list the longest and meet the criteria and have the highest student veteran populations, so that we can expand to those sites. If you have any questions about your school specifically, I can put the outreach mailbox in the chat box and you can reach out for a status update.
Thank you very much, Robin. We have another question. Hi, I am a VA work study for the City University of New York and noticed a couple of our campuses are missing the principles of excellence. Is there a registration process that I can pass on to those campuses? Thank you for the help. The short answer to that is yes, there is an application process. Generally, that's done as part of the Yellow Ribbon Program participation agreement. So when a school signs up for the Yellow Ribbon matching program or revises their contributions for the Yellow Ribbon Program, they can choose to sign up for it. Now, one other thing I would also mention is most of the requirements of the Principles of Excellence are actually now going to be statutory requirements for all GI Bill approved institutions of higher learning, effective August 1st of this year, as part of section, 1019 actually, of the Isaacson and Roe bill. So pretty soon, all schools are going to have to abide by those principles of excellence requirements, which involve providing comprehensive information regarding the program cost for the entire program of education that they're enrolled, as well as the types of financial aid that are available to them, as well as providing them a single point of contact to help them through their endeavors as well. Okay, and last question, is VRNE extendable past the 48 months of education? And I will defer to Ms. Trulock for that one.
Thank you very much, James. So with the extension past the 48 months of entitlement, that is really dependent on an individual basis. There are a few different factors that we have to look at, and the main part being that we have to determine that somebody has what we call a serious employment handicap, which are extensive barriers to their employment. And so we have to show that there is a reason for extending past that 48 months. And then if we are able to show that it's justifiable, we can, in certain instances, provide more than 48 months of entitlement for education.
Thank you, Robin. That was the last question, and I believe we're a couple of minutes over time. And I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. If you have any additional questions, you can go to the GI Bill website, and there is a Ask a Question feature as well as FAQs on our website, which can answer those questions for you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you tonight.